Hi, scholars. So today we're going to be learning about cause and effect. The Common Core standard that aligns with cause and effect is RI 4.5. That's Reading Informational Text, Grade 4, Standard 5. The standard reads, describe the overall structure, examples given, chronology, comparison, cause/effect, problem/solution of events, ideas, concepts, or information in a text or a part of a text. However, today we're going to solely focus on that text structure or organizations that authors can use, such as cause and effect. So a cause is the cause happens first, and the cause explains why something happened. For example, we have an image here of a rain cloud and it's raining. The effect happens after the cause. So I want you to think back to our cause of having the rain cloud there. And the effect explains what happens as a result of the cause. So because it's raining, I would grab an umbrella. So let's practice determining the differences between causes and effects. We're going to read the sentence and identify the cause and effect here. Lauren broke her arm when she jumped off the swing. So what happened first, that's going to be the cause. Now, what we have to tell ourselves here is just because what's mentioned first in the sentence or the text is not always the cause. So again, Lauren broke her arm when she jumped off the swing. The cause is Lauren jumped off the swing. And the effect is that Lauren broke her arm. Even though the ending of that sentence is what we have our cause as of here, it doesn't mean that that didn't happen first. It's just the structure in which the author chose to write that sentence. Again, we're going to practice identifying the cause and effect. Devin is in pain because he was stung by a bee. So what happened first? That's going to be the cause. Devin got stung by a bee, which the effect is Devin is in pain. So let's take a look at these two sentences and determine the cause. The TV stopped working when Zachary cut the cable. Zachary cut the cable and the TV stopped working. These two sentences are very similar, but what you'll notice in this first sentence, the cause is at the end of the sentence. And in the second sentence, the cause is at the beginning. So we have to stop and think and also tell ourselves that a cause can be written at the beginning of the sentence or passage, and it also can be written at the end of a sentence or passage. It doesn't matter. It's really up to the author how in which they want to write that sentence. But the cause is why something happened, and the effect is what happened after that. So there are some cause signal words: because, since, and due to. And these words signal a cause is going to follow. We have to keep in mind that these are not always present in a text, but oftentimes when you see these words, a cause will follow. Effect signal words: therefore, so, and consequently. These words signal an effect is going to follow. We have to keep in mind, again, that these are not always present. Sometimes a cause can have multiple effects. So we're going to read this passage. In every direction Sam looked, he saw destruction. Trees were ripped out of the ground. His truck was upside down, and pieces of wood that were once part of his house were scattered everywhere. It's hard to believe a tornado can cause this much damage, Sam said. So the cause here, we have one singular cause. A tornado hit Sam's house. Whereas we have multiple effects of that singular cause. Sam's truck was damaged, Sam's house was destroyed, and trees were ripped out of the ground. So here we have three effects for one cause. And sometimes an effect can have multiple causes. My dad picked me up from practice 20 minutes late because traffic was stopped in our small town and he had to wait for a train on the way here. So the causes here are traffic was stopped and had to wait for the train. Whereas there's a singular effect, which resulted in Dad picked me up late. So we're going to read this passage and we're going to determine the multiple causes and effects that we see within this text. When wolves disappeared from Yellowstone, nearly a century ago, the gray wolf was hunted to near extinction throughout most of the United States. This included Yellowstone National Park. Many people were happy to be rid of the wild carnivore. They viewed wolves as scary predators that killed ranchers' livestock, like cattle and sheep. They believed things would be better without the wolves around. Few anticipated the impact the wolves' disappearance would have on Yellowstone's ecosystem. The elimination of wolves had a cascading effect in Yellowstone National Park. A cascading effect means that one change caused something else to change, which in turn led to another change, etc. In Yellowstone, the chain reaction started with the elk. Wolves have been predators of elk. By preying on elk, wolves helped regulate the size of the herd. Therefore, without the wolves, the elk population grew. The increased number of elk ate a greater amount of vegetation. The elk's over-browsing young trees and shrubs affected not only the plant life, but other animals as well. Young willow saplings were gobbled up before they could develop into sturdy trees. Consequently, beavers had less full-grown willow trees to eat and build their dams out of. As a result, the beaver population declined dramatically. Songbirds had fewer tall trees to build their nests in. The elk also ate the berries that grizzly bears relied on as a food source. Due to this lack of resources, the population of songbirds and grizzly bears decreased as well. Ravens and eagles also suffered the consequence of the wolves' elimination. The reason ravens and eagles were impacted is that they fed on the carcasses of the elk that the wolves had killed. Wolves were no longer hunting elk, so that food source was scarce. People realized that wolves played a vital role in maintaining Yellowstone's ecosystem. Between 1995 to 1996, wildlife officials relocated 31 wolves from Canada to Yellowstone National Park. Since their reintroduction, wolves have contributed to restoring balance to the Yellowstone ecosystem. So as we look throughout this text, if we were asked how did the author organize this text, it is clear that it is cause and effect. However, there are many causes and also many effects with an overarching cause. The gray wolf was hunted to near extinction and disappeared from Yellowstone National Park. That is a cause, and the effect is the elk population grew and people ended up being happy for a time. Another cause could be young willow saplings were gobbled up by the elk, and beavers had less food to eat and build their dams out of. Songbirds had less trees to build nests in. Wolves were no longer hunting elk, and there were less carcasses of elk. And ravens and eagles lost their food source. So if you were asked how did the author organize this text, a restate and answer could look something like this. The author organized this text using cause and effect, text structure, and we can't stop there because we have to mention what the cause is, to show the effects of wolves being eliminated from Yellowstone National Park. So that's how you would start off your restate and answer if you were asked a text structure question about this text in particular. The reason that we went over this is that cause and effect is usually much more difficult to determine when discussing text structure. So let's review. A cause. The cause happens first. The cause explains why something happened. An effect. The effect happens after the cause, and the effect explains what happened as a result of the cause. And we also have to remember that a cause can be written at the beginning of a sentence or passage, or it can also be written at the end of a sentence or passage. So I hope you learned a little bit more about cause and effect text structure, and I will see you next time.